the Conservative MP Nadine Dorries has admitted sharing her login details to her work computer with colleagues, quote, every day. The Mid-Bedfordshire MP was defending fellow Tory Damien Green on Twitter, who's accused of accessing porn images on his work computer when she made the admission. The data protection officer, Carl Gottlieb, joins us live from Stafford. Hi, Carl. Thanks for joining us.
Hi there, Kimberly.
OK, let's go back to the tweets. My staff log onto my computer on my desk with my login every day, including interns on exchange programs. What was your reaction when you read that?
Surprise was the key word. Frankly, we're not used to hearing this kind of admission from people. We all know this kind of behaviour goes on, but ultimately we expect better from our elected officials.
Why? She said she spoke to our reporter here, Joe Tidy, and said, listen, it's just 4 people, I think, who log on to that. Why should she be worried?
It's not a case of being worried. It's a case of providing security and an audit trail. You know, she's trying to defend the position of there not being an audit trail because of the way things are. Well, the reality is there should be. Within government, we have freedom of information requests. We have the ability to find out what things are going on. And this kind of behaviour removes that auditability and removes the ability to secure what's going on in our government networks.
OK, Carl, well, let me read you a subsequent tweet from Nadine Dorries. She said, flattered by a number of people on here who think I'm part of the government and have access to government docs. I'm a backbench MP, 2 Westminster-based computers in a shared office. On my computer, there is a shared email account. That's it. Nothing else. Sorry to disappoint. So what do you think to that? Is that's it? Nothing else?
Sadly, no. I think if you were to ask anyone in the street and say, does your MP work for the government, if they're elected into that party, then absolutely you would say they were. You know, MPs are handling very sensitive data, whether in government or not. You know, people go to their constituents and they're looking for help, some very sensitive data, and they need to be protecting that.
So is it her fault from what she said about the system that's set up, or is it a wider problem with the government that needs to address the systems in place?
It's a great question, and we have a cultural issue within the UK. This isn't just inside government. Across the UK government, but also industry, within the charity sector, within the private sector, across all 3 sectors, we have the lax security practices that are going on. We all know that people share passwords. We all share accounts with people. We know we shouldn't, but we just do it because we don't want to be insecure, but we go with the easiest route. And so what we need to do here is not try and blame the user, not try and blame Nadine directly and say, look, we know this goes on. How do we move the needle forward? How do we improve things? And some basic tools, some basic training is probably what we can do here to help prevent this going on in the future.
If you're an extremely busy person, if you have an assistant, is there a way of setting up a system so that assistant has access to your information without possibly, let's say if we're looking at an agenda, they can access it, have a look at what's going on, make some changes, look at your email without being able to send any information on? Is there systems that can set that up?
Yes, absolutely. And it's named delegated access or delegated control. And whichever email system you're using from any of the major providers, there's ways of providing that. So rather than having like the main account, you can give that to an assistant and see what's going on. So you're controlling what they have access to and only what they need to know.
OK, so tell us what the reaction has been like within your world, your data protection world.
It's been absolutely furious. Now, many in the information security community aren't great fans of the government anyway, but putting that to one side, yeah, they're not happy one bit. And I'm trying to provide a little bit of moderation in that and say, yeah, we've got somebody admitting some wrongdoing here, but let's try and take a positive out of this and say, yeah, we know what's happening. Let's try and make things better now.
So what can one do on a personal level? Just protect your password?
Yeah, there's some very basic things. So the National Cybersecurity Centre, which is a government kind of body that improves information security for the UK, they're providing some great advice. And one of the things that's come out recently is to say new advice on password management. So rather than saying change your password every 30 days, you don't need to change it. Just have a very secure, like a long password. And a good example of a secure password, rather than having lots of uppercase, lowercase, exclamation marks, all those kind of things, is maybe have 4 words and piece them together. So there's good things about password management coming out of the government already, and I think we just need to make sure that our MPs are a shining example of that kind of good practice.
Okay, Carl Gottlieb, thank you so much. Carl's a data protection officer.